Robert T. Green, CEO pre-post game, also known as a player's rep, here to educate and empower and protect the athletes and the family's best interest in their best interest alone. Today is March the 8th, 2018. It's approximately about 6:15 p.m. Normally I do a podcast on the Ball Hawk Show today, but Mr. Mod Hawkins couldn't be there today, so I'm going to try this. Normally I don't do this from a home office because my live stream doesn't technically usually work as well. So I'm going to sit for a few seconds and see if anybody joins in. We're going to talk about what's going on in this world of sports today from the NCAA's perspective, the NFL's perspective, where Jerry Jones just paid the NFL back $2 million, and the situation with Ezekiel Elliott having his legal attorney fees paid back. So if you guys can see if we're moving along this, I'll try to make this interactive as well. But at the same time, if it is moving smoothly, somebody please give me a thumbs up so I know you can see and hear what I'm doing clearly. So again, give people a few seconds to get in here. Like I said, welcome. The live streaming going good? Anybody? So let me know. Post your comments. I'll try to answer your questions too. I'm going to try to do this maybe once or twice a week. Like I like to tell people a lot of times regarding our mantra, we're here to educate and empower and protect. Usually the education I give is for free, but the empowerment and protection is what I do and get paid for. So again, I'm here going to try to educate people on their way home from work, sitting down for dinner, have kids that basically want to be prepared to make their push to go to college or even get noticed in college or get noticed in high school to go to the next level. So let's see, really quick post. The feed choppy. Right. Welcome everybody to come on in. Like I said, my name is Robert T. Green, the CEO of Pre-Post Game. I'm the player's rep. I'm a sports business management advisory firm for athletes and their families' best interests alone. We provide education, the do's and don'ts regarding business of sports on and off the field, including transition, succession planning, long-term sustainable success, helping the athlete, the parent understand that when you talk about sports, there's already a short-lived window as it is. So any decision that you make should be informed. It should be measured, but most importantly, it should be something that fits you and your best interests alone. And with all the people that's out there that's using sports to take care and feed their families, we created our company and our model to basically support you and your best interests to go from there. So recently today, we're talking about the NCAA has now reached $1 billion. And the rage and the arguments are going on, First Take and ESPN and all these other shows pertaining to what the players, what the school should do or what the NCAA should do regarding paying student athletes. And once again, people talk about that term student athlete. Usually those people that say that have never been what they call a student athlete. I was a collegiate athlete, a high school athlete, and also a pro athlete. So my knowledge and experience in this matter is pretty good. And what we will say is that literally the education, if you get there, getting, if you will, does not warrant the return of what they're putting out there on the field, the court, or the diamond, or the actual rink. Simply because at the end of the day, a lot of the education or lack thereof, they can basically not go to school and basically be able to get the same jobs, whether it's, and again, talking about athletes, a lot of times built up depending on their size or their comfortability of speaking with people. For example, you go to college and these guys aren't even taking public speaking classes. For those that are highly successful in sports, and that at one point sooner than later they're going to be playing at a professional level, they don't put these guys in personal finance classes or money management classes. How do you expect, and I teach and we tell our families and these athletes, how do you expect to be a successful millionaire if you don't understand what context means regarding reading contracts and understanding leverage and understand all the things that go into sports business? But you always hear once a player gets cut or gets injured and they focus on the term team, you hear the next term is next man up. It doesn't go together. It doesn't go hand in hand. You make up your mind. So if I'm part of the team and then all of a sudden the team makes a decision to cut me, did they actually consult the team, which I'm part of, or did they make the decision from their general manager's office or their ownership group? So once again, understanding all the different things that go into the mind that make you think a certain way and do a certain thing, especially the athlete and the family, to fall in line, if you will, But like anything else, any other corporation, a job, a company, you have a standard or a bylaw. Just recently, as of today, news came out that an NFL scout asked Darius Geis, was he gay? And so for those people who don't know, the NFL, MLB, NHL, and the NBA bylaws, guidelines, practices, traditions does not supersede U.S. law. It's illegal to ask that man that question in a workplace environment. It's also something where he cannot be penalized or held accountable for not wanting to answer that question. The fact of the matter is the person that asked him that question is not and will never be more valuable to the National Football League than that young man that they asked. At the same time, a lot of people want to know why they ask these type of questions. And, for those who don't understand sports and never play sports, they'll say, well, they want to see if he's actually, aware of what's going to get under his skin. They want to get a reaction. Well, if that's the case, why don't that scout or that person asking the question say, hey, sir, I want to tell you something. My mother was a prostitute. Instead of placing and asking the kid if his mother was a prostitute, if the reaction is what they're looking for, even though that reaction has nothing to do with his play on or off the field in the National Football League or the NBA, then say, my mother was a prostitute. Say, I think I'm gay. Then let that man react to what he's saying about himself. But talking about this kid's family or asking questions or basically demeaning him or degrading him, anything less than a professional is uncalled for and unacceptable. It's kind of why the players rep is here anyway, because that type of derogatory behavior starts at the earliest level. When, parents turn their kids over to certain programs or schools or teams or coaches, at the end of the day, what you hear and what you see is not what's going to happen when the lights are off or when they go the other way. And the reality is, again, at the end of the day, a lot of damage is done to athletes. And because, again, we told like we were gladiators and to be tough, and because we all grouped them together, we never realized that, although we're a team, each individual person is important. Our thoughts, our needs, our well wishes, our responsibilities matters. It should matter to us. And a lot of times we don't actually even realize that who and what we are is being taken away from us slowly but surely every day of the week. 20 years ago or so, aging myself when I played, we didn't get to drink water when we, run or jump, and we used to run a lot. So at the end of the day, it was said back when that drinking water would make you soft. And reality is, again, because we didn't know any better, and as young men and impressionable kids, that's what the coaches, that's what the team said, that's what we did. But now if you talk about today, the game hasn't changed. If you try to put a kid out there, and it's almost mandatory that you have to have water breaks to hydrate these kids. So no different than, like you say, talk about CTE and getting hit in the head. I played football for 9 years as a pro. Again, when you come up with something and talk about CTE, I played out in an indoor game where there was walls with fullbacks of 300 plus pounds. And I like to pride myself in basically articulating or enunciating the words that I say when I'm trying to put sentences together to try to teach people things. So why is it that I'm not literally at this point? I'm having so many difficulties when I'm in a business as a CEO, as an owner of a company, as a former foundation runner, as someone that teaches certain type of criteria and techniques regarding succession and transition planning. I worked in the mental health field with people that were self-harm cases and things of that nature. Well, again, I know who I am. And when I get up every day of the week as a former athlete, I don't let the fact that I played football or lacrosse or track define who I am. It's in addition to. And a lot of these kids come from urban areas like I did. At one point feel like without me being able to shoot a jump shot or throw a ball or tackle someone or rap or do anything else like that, if I'm not selling drugs, I don't feel like I can make it out of there. Because my surrounding circle, again, I tell people all the time, you are who you surround yourself with. So if you don't feel like you're comfortable or competent in doing those things, once that sport is in your life, that's what you dedicate everything to it. And if it doesn't go a certain way, it also can be the same thing that is to your detriment. So again, talking about CTE, so you wake up in the morning now, you don't feel like your life is worth anything because you no longer getting the cheers. You no longer having people support you in a way that they once did because you was an athlete. You also not accustomed to transitioning back to society to actually realize, like, you know what, I am more than an athlete. I am very happy and honored to see that a lot of athletes today, whether it's LeBron James, is not shutting up just to dribble a basketball, or Mr. J.J. Watt, who did what he did when it came to the actual hurricane. At the same time, too, even now when people used to try to basically keep athletes from speaking about things, but I like to tell people all the time, we can walk and chew bubble gum too. Any athlete that can become pro and know what it takes to become a pro at any level is not just the NFL or NBA. I like to tell people all the time, the best athletes in the world don't always play in the biggest sports that you see. So again, everybody, there's players out there that could play in the National Football League, never got the opportunity to do so for many different reasons. I'm not going to go into those things now, but the athletes that play know exactly what I'm talking about. And once again, when they try to have a conversation about the sport, they can't respect and understand the type of work that these guys put in, whether it's Arena, Canada. At one point, Arena, what we were doing, Arena had 25 teams. Those guys get up, they practice twice a day, they train twice a day, they run, they take care of their bodies, they work out, they lift, they take supplements, they eat properly, try to sleep right. It's the same amount as the National Football League players do. And the same thing applies to the guys that are overseas playing basketball and the guys that are basically getting on the bus in the farm system for baseball. We all do the same thing. How much you get paid should not define who you are as a person from your character level, from your professional level, and also who you see yourself as at that level. What that does affect is, though, when you transition, how soon and what can you do to put yourself in the best situation going forward. The reality is most guys that don't make a lot of money while playing professional sports realize that it's going to be a short-lived career, but they also got to find out a way to make a life for themselves when they're not there. But the guys that are making a lot of money, those people that are around them want to keep them young and dumb as long as they possibly can, because the reality is this. If those guys figure out that they don't need you, then literally you're not paying them and you're taking care of yourself. This goes all the way back to some of the things that go into such as healthcare benefits, insurance, which I'm going to talk about in a second, pertaining to the NCAA, what they're trying to do. And I had a great conversation with a colleague of mine because, again, the pre-post game, the players rep, I'm not here to basically try to appease and to appeal to the leagues, to the coaches, to the people in the industry that literally say, you know what, you got to support us in what we do. At the end of the day, you guys have plenty of support, whether it's through the TV deals or whether it's through the sponsors, whether it's through the fans, there was whoever it may be, the commissioners, and it goes on and on and on and on. I'm here to support the players because their rights and their parents' rights have not been heard forever. And at this point, we're starting to see these things turn when it comes to the FBI's investigations of the world. And a lot of times parents say, well, these kids say, well, I never took anything. You may not. That goes to one of our things we're talking about, such as sports trafficking, where there are other people that's literally posing as friends, quote unquote mentors, and literally, using your name, likeness, and image, just like the NCAA does with your intellectual property, to basically create and gain monetary value based off of phone conversations, priority information that nobody else has. Again, a lot of times people don't realize when you play AAU teams, like if you play for an AAU team that wears Nike, the reality is just check the math. The reality of this kid going to any other school that wears Nike is almost slim to none, because all his decisions that's being made is being manipulated and driven to have him do that. Now, when that happens, that person that helped him make those decisions are going to be compensated for it. So, like I said, again, this thing is crazy. So I'm just going to read something to you guys real quick. So NCAA, the men's basketball tournament is expanding starting next season, but on the large scale once suspected. So the NCAA announces reached 14-year, nearly $11 billion agreement with CBS, Turner Sports, TV rights to 68 team tournaments and up to 3 teams from the current 65. Okay? Again, they just reached over $1 billion. When you talk about TNT, CBS, you talk about $11 billion, which is, again, it says is a 41% increase over CBS average rights fees to an old TV deal. So, again, the old TV deal was, again, 41% less than $11 billion. But that's what it is now. So as the players continue to train and work out and they continue to say, next man up, as they continue to say, again, you get the free education. Well, 41% of $11 billion, that's what just went up, 41%, again, as I said, and everything else for the athlete stays the same. There's something wrong with that. It ain't going up because of the same coaches that keep regurgitating and being recycled. Let's look at this last year in the NCAA football. You got Willie Taggart, who was at South Florida, who left, went to Oregon, then came back to Florida State. You got Kevin Sumlin, who left Texas A&M to go to Arizona with their issues. Then you got Jimbo Fisher, who left Florida State to go to Texas A&M. So again, these guys are continuing to make money. They continue to get paid buyouts in the millions. They continue to sign guys into national letters of intent, and then have the NCAA support their causes when 25% of the coaches that recruited these kids are also changing jobs, and then saying these kids have to sit out a year. When Mark Emmert says he can't believe what's going on in the NCAA regarding the current scandals, that's not even a scandal, folks. I want to let you guys know. This has been going on for 50 years. 50 years. And it's like I said it in previous times, and I'll say it again, it's not just basketball. It's not just football. Not just baseball. It's not just hockey. This culture, the NCAA, is the biggest exploiter of child labor in the history of this country. Again, all the people that are making revenue right now off the NCAA, off the backs of these kids, they can't do what they do. And the ones that are coaching now that once played the game for nothing are now basically getting retribution or being compensated for doing the same thing that was done to them. It's called institutionalism. Institutionalized. Apologize. Can't speak right now. The fact of the matter is you don't have to be behind bars to be locked up. You don't. What these kids are learning to do, and again, I invite any coach, any provider, any AAU, anybody to come ahead and tell me what kids learn in school, college level, is what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. That's not learning. Not learning. I don't learn anything. You told me what to do. You told me when to do it. You told me how to do it. You didn't tell me if there was a better way. Like I said, 20 years ago, I did the same mat room drills, the same runs, and I wasn't drinking water, but today they are. It took someone to say this is not right 20 years ago for guys to drink water. Just to drink water today. Sports business. Sports is not a game. It's all business. Going into 2018, you got Alabama's recruiting class dropped to number 7. You got kids that decided to go to Grambling State and Princeton instead of Alabama. And I hear some fans say, well, the kid was never offered by Alabama. So let me correct you. He was offered by Alabama. But again, to downplay or disrespect that kid's decision because he didn't want to hold a clipboard to back up a guy that was 25-2 and a guy that came in and won a national championship, which again, so just talk about that real quick. This joke of how now they're going to run a 2-quarterback system in Alabama right now. Let me tell you exactly what's going on for the parents out there in case you get caught in this situation. Your son goes to a school and plays quarterback and he finds himself starting, and then this happened in Georgia too as well with Fromm and then Jacob Eason, who's a highly rated kid who just 5-star, who just transferred back to the University of Washington. If all of a sudden the guy that was supposed to be the starter comes in and all of a sudden he loses his job to injury, which people all say all the time, you can't lose your job to injury. That's a lie. Sports is not a game. It's all business. It's about 2 things: selling tickets and recruiting. If the guy that was originally there gets hurt and the next guy comes in and the other guy performs, now the fan base, the school, team is watching these guys win. It's the next man up for the guy that was backing him up. You got to go. If your career matters to you, you got to go. To hear guys like Tubby Smith say that the NCAA will be teaching kids how to quit if, and mind you, this man is, I just want to say close to 70, but it shouldn't matter. But his thought process does. If you going to say that it's okay for grown men to look a kid in the face, come to his house, sometimes where it's a 1-bedroom shack somewhere in the South where there's no real clean water, to make all type of promises to this kid to come play for you, only for you to take a job somewhere else to make millions and call this kid a quitter. And then your peers, once again, sit back there and support you because, once again, they all making money. You all making money of keeping these kids from making independent decisions or informed decisions for themselves. That's what Pre-Post Game is here for, by the way. Like I said, I'm doing this Facebook Live here. You guys can go on our site at prepostgame.com. Whether it's high school recruiting, college recruiting, transition to the pros, we got you covered 24/7 in every aspect. You want to go to a school, you're not sure how to, the question you need to ask, we have that type of curriculum. We have basically a sports business and management academy, the first one ever created as well. Sit there, answer the questions you may have. If you really confused with what you not sure what you want to do, you can hire us. We'll come sit in your living room and help you interview the coaches. They're not going to really like that because we know what questions to ask, but it is not about them, it's about you. So, as I was saying, Alabama's 7th ranked recruiting class hasn't been that low since 2007. So for the coaches that's watching, like I said, God bless you guys. I'm not saying all coaches is bad because they're not. I coach myself. But I coach some good coaches and I coach some bad coaches at the same time. What I recognize and realize as a coach is that literally, regardless of the fact that what I try to do was right by that kid, my power is limited. So I'm going to do all you guys a favor. I'm going to speak for the kid and the family. And like I said, professionally, try to put them in the best situation possible for them. Listen to the facts. There's 700 schools that's playing football in the NCAA at every level. 1AA, 1A, 2, NAIA, and Division III. And that's also JUCO. Out of those 700 schools, any coach out of those 650 schools that say they're not trying to leave and get a better job somewhere else is lying to you and that kid. So that means it's a business. That means that the relationship that is being established, the stage relationship that's being established to get that kid to come to that school is only at the true benefit of the person that's trying to get them to come there. No disrespect to these smaller schools, but people don't realize that, hey, nobody knew Jim Harbaugh was a coach when he was coaching in San Diego. Nobody knew who Urban Meyer was when he was coaching at Utah. So I'm the players rep. I know their history. So I apologize if you don't see me jumping up and down saying how great of coaches this person is and that one is, because I watched them and I've seen the results. And I know the players that they actually coached. And I can tell you some of those players that actually played with me that they played underneath them. So we talk about character development, what really goes on with some of these kids, and track records. Because to me, like I said, we all know sports is short-lived. Because people think all the time all these athletes are making so much money. 1% are making that money. But then the 1% that's making all that money are going broke. Why are they going broke? Like I said earlier, it's about education, but you don't have a personal finance or money management class because you're too busy going overseas, taking pictures and signing autographs. God forbid, like I said, if you told me something, now I want to hold you accountable. I'm the bad guy. It's a really easy fix too, by the way, all of this, about who gets paid and when they get paid. Just like insurance, it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not. Each scholarship, no matter what the school, Division 1, 2, 3, whatever it may be from there, it's simple. Whatever that money that kid would got paid for that scholarship, give him that money and let them go to school for free. Because clearly, let's take basketball. The University of Louisville has 13 basketball players on scholarship. Each one, just go to Sports Business Insider, will tell you. Each kid generates $1.3 million for that school. So out of that $1.3 million, you mean to tell me if his scholarship is worth $56,000 for that year, you can't subtract $56,000 from $1.3 million? Unless you got to pay Mark Emmert $10 million and pay another commissioner, say Jim Delaney from Michigan, a $20 million bonus. extortion, exploitation, child labor laws, manipulation. It really disgusts me to see adults treat kids, and again, that's what they are. Yeah, they're talented. Yeah, they're athletic. Yes, they make mistakes. Yes, they do things all the time that's not necessarily in their best interest. For example, I don't know when all the athletes became these karaoke guys lip singing on their Snapchats or Instagram IGs while they drive. How about some of you coaches? Can you please let these kids know that if they hit somebody, they are going to jail and their career is over? Somebody want to tell them? It's okay to have your fun. Nothing wrong with having fun, but be safe about it. But again, like any athlete, you're supposed to hold yourself to a certain standard as a professional. Because again, collegiate sports is professional sports. Go to Vegas. Are they betting on the game? If they're betting on the game, it's professional. But again, these athletes affect so many different people. March Madness is about to come up. How many people are going to basically fill out one of those pools and sheets at their job about who the winner going to be? How many of you guys are going to put $1 in on that? Then after, even though you're not supposed to, but even after that, how many sports bars, how many restaurants, if they don't put that March Madness on, nobody want to eat those cheesy fries? Athletes are everything when it comes to collegiate sports. Without them, half of the society, the business model, how things go, will shut down. It is a disgrace for the adults that continue to exploit these kids and their families. And I'm going to say this clear as day too. The SEC conference is the most powerful conference, if you will, powerful because of the people that they go to recruit, where all they do 24/7, 7 days a week is eat, sleep, dream, football, basketball. A lot of their parents got second, third grade educations. And the people that continue to go there and jump up and down, call me names, call me loony, saying I'm out of line. When you try to put one of those kids on an interview, a radio, a TV show to speak, they can't complete a full sentence. But yet y'all still talking education. That might work out there in that little bitty circle. I'm from New York. You wouldn't make it 5 minutes unless you played that sport. But we know how it is. You can't play anymore, next man up. You just don't look the same. There's so many things that's going on right now that literally I want to bring this to attention to a lot of parents. So let's talk about it. Insurance. Everybody knows there's a big deal in this country. Insurance. It's a personal decision. It's a decision that's warranted, that basically is not a one size fit all. It's not a one-stop shop. You know, as a young man, if you wanted to get Geico, Allstate, Farmers, and say you went to a university, no matter what university, Duke, Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, Florida State, it don't matter. It is your right and your choice to say, hey, you know what? I looked at these premiums. I like Allstate. So you decide. You and your parents decide. For a university now to interject themselves and say, you know what? No, Mr. Insurance guy, I don't want you to basically call my student, my athlete, because we using Geico over here. That's illegal. Now, why would that school, that coach say we using Geico? Well, because they have a deal in place with Geico to solicit, coerce, and move these kids through their process, which is also illegal. Now, you might say to me, well, isn't that an institution? They free to make their own decisions. They can do what they want. That is true. That's correct. If they want to use Geico, that's their right. But what their right is not tell the kid of their choices and their options before they sign a contract and then misrepresent themselves to that kid. And also, it's not their right to all of a sudden, when that kid realizes that this size or this part of insurance don't fit me, to basically blackball me and tell me unless I use your insurance, it won't be paid for. So this is what's going on right now. We just seen what happened with Billy Price on the combine towards bicep tech. Might affect his draft status. I'm sure it will. Was he covered in insurance? Did he get the loss of value protection that he deserved and needed, that he warranted, that he was basically applied to him because it fit his actual threshold through the Lloyd's of London? Maurice Hurst left school, played in the bowl game, did everything right. Great kid, University of Michigan, defensive tackle with #1 rated on the board this upcoming 2018 draft. Gets to the combine. They say, you have a heart condition. And the saddest part about this whole scenario is that didn't know that till I saw on NFL Network Mo speaking and said, well, the University of Michigan knew I had a heart condition and they cleared me. We're talking about conflict of interest again. So you mean to tell me a university cleared you after you played 5 years at that school, gave them everything you got, told you that you are right, only to get to the combine, have the NFL tell you that you're not, and then you're going to return back to the school and allow that same university to look you over again? Sports is not a game. It's all business. It's all business. You know, I say the expression all the time, when somebody show you all who they are the first time, believe them. We know what the NCAA is. We know who the universities are. So if you continue to go through these recruiting processes and jump up and down when they give you some type of graphic design that they copy and paste with somebody else, and if you want to basically go there and look at the $55 million that he spent on to have a nice couch and a lounge and a nap room that you're never going to be able to see based on your 17-hour or 16-hour day schedule, and because it's a job, I'm not even mad at the NCAA because it's a business. What I'm mad is that they continue to try to avert and deny the fact that it is a business, and that their business is basically taking advantage of the athlete and their families. So for those that support the NCAA, well, they get a free education. Did you ask them if they want a free education? Did you do anything? Did you put any bylaw in place based off the needs and the well wishes and the wants of the athletes that came before the ones that is currently there, and the parents that were currently there, and those that came before? Is your committees have anybody on their board that literally is someone such as myself, which I was glad to be on your board and advocate for the players and their fans? Because I get phone calls every day and part of my business about a lot of things that you guys aren't doing right. For example, when a parent calls an athletic director or a compliance department person, you think it's okay to not get back to that parent for weeks and months at a time? Do you think it's okay as a school who's getting paid through taxpayers' money that if a parent whose son goes to that school or daughter goes to that school, that if I reach out to you professionally via email that you do not respond to me, that's okay? The thing is this, it's about selling tickets and recruiting. That's okay. Pre-post game, we keep a file on all that stuff. So when the parents and the kids are going through and they try to make their decision and they need consultations, need evaluations, they come up with their plan, their game plan, what they're looking for. They're looking for someone that's honest, integral, that's going to put them in a situation to be successful on and off the field. That's responsive to the parent, to understand that they had needs, that they're going to basically not be with their son or daughter for a while, that they're not trying to separate you from your kids. So when every decision that is going into this decision or into that kid's life, that you basically be correspond with them in a professional manner. You're not going to lie to their face, tell them what they want to hear, not what they need to know. But once again, since we know the answers to the test and to the questions, that's all on our file too. I want people to understand that this is a new day in sports. This is a new day. When we were growing up, guys wanted to be in the NFL Hall of Fame, NBA Hall of Fame, and again, guys that are already in the Hall of Fame, they didn't have the same opportunities that these guys have today. So the playing field was different. But the fact of the matter is, you guys are now competent. I mean, making all this money and all these decisions to guide these players. Again, you talk about the education. The NFL draft is coming up right now. Just do the simple math. And I'm working on a project as well from the Under Armour All-American game and also from the McDonald's All-American game, just to go back to your education piece. And the actual database that we create and the data we're looking at and we're going to put out there to the world is that how many players that said at the Under Armour All-American game, how many players at the McDonald's All-American basketball game said, for the next 1 year or the next 3 to 4 years, I'm taking my talents too. And how many of those players are still in college today? Because once again, the NLI, National Letter of Intent, is not equal. Kid, 18 years old, 17 years old, signs it, gives NCAA University the right to have them at their university if they meet their standards for 4 years. NCAA signs it, university signs it, says we have the right to remove you every year. Even though the kid is taking all the physical risk. You go to a school, you want to be a doctor. Okay. Until you got to basically sign up for classes and you find out that your classes don't fit into the box that the school wants you to go in. Once again, it's about education. Give those kids the money and let them go get the education that they want. I am really sick and it hurts my heart. Again, if you look at the top of my cover photo, it says, for those who don't know, again, I'm Robert T. Green, the CEO of Pre-Post Game. I'm also known as the Players Rep. Here to educate and empower, protect the athletes and the family's best interest in theirs alone, in sports business and in life. And that's at every level. I'm not an agent. I have no desire to be an agent. I've been asked several times, but I don't have it in me to be an agent because what agents do isn't in me and it shouldn't be in them. I don't do this for likes, followers, hugs, approval. I do it to see young men and their families fulfill their dreams on and off the field. So like I said at the top of my comment, I'm not waiting for diabetes, cancer, CTE, dementia, police brutality, ideals, murder, friend, foe, family. Come for me. These things I know how it works, I know how to protect you in it, and I'm going to do so. Well, I can't do it anymore. I told the client today, the day that a parent or a kid tells me, no, Robert, I don't want you to keep me from getting taken advantage of. No, Robert, I don't want you to stop me from basically not knowing that I qualify for insurance. No, Robert, I don't want you to not tell me, explain to me that literally this deal or this contract is already slotted and that I didn't know what a split contract was. And I didn't know what offset language was. And no, I didn't know that a lockout was coming in possibly 2021. Please don't tell me anything. Let me go broke like the 80% that go broke. When I hear that from them, then I'll stop. Other than that, it's file after file after file after file, name after name after name after name. We're everywhere. I know you guys can see me, but that's for a reason for that. Because I'm the one that gets yelled at. I'm the one that gets called all type of names. I mean, when you get shot 5 times, you get stabbed coming from the hood, getting your names called or getting threatened. That stuff that really don't bother you anymore. I'm blessed. Everything that I've been through and I experienced now allows me to sit back here and look at things with an open mind and a clear understanding of what my role and what my goal is in life. For those parents out there that have kids that are still going through the recruiting process, I need you to understand your kids need your support. Not only today, not only tomorrow, but through the entire process. There are things that's going to go on that you do not understand and you won't understand. So for that matter alone, you can find us and you can hashtag the Players Rep and try to, get a better understanding. So I'm going to transition really quick from the college level. And again, we'll be doing this more. Like I said, I am doing a podcast now on the African American Athlete. You can follow the African American Athlete at AFAM Athlete on Facebook Live, hosted by Ricky Hampton and Mr. Michael Robinson. They also do a radio show on Tuesday night, which I'm a guest on. I'm usually a guest on the Ball Hawk show with Mr. Ahmad Hawkins. I talk to business, do sports business analysis for them on Thursdays. And today he couldn't make it, and I decided to just take a couple minutes, not minutes, but about an hour to just discuss some things in the current sports land of America today. I did watch a little bit of First Take today. Anybody on here know Stephen A., Max Kellerman, Will Kane? Again, I get so tired of watching some of that stuff because at the end of the day, all the people that claim that they can and want to do something, it's real simple. It's really simple. But to talk about the same stuff every day without solutions is a problem. It's a problem. This is why the Players Rep is here. If Stephen A. wasn't covering sports, how much more? He wouldn't be making $3 million doing journalism covering Broad Street in Philadelphia. Yes, I know Stephen A. You from Queens, New York. I know who you are, sir. I actually met you one time. Met you in Baltimore. I walked up to you, tried to introduce myself to you. Nervous. I was about 200 pounds. I had a tank top on. I guess I was still playing. I guess I look a little bit menacing. I apologize for that. But I don't mean today when I reach out to you, try to help you. If you claim to be helping these kids and want these kids to get success and support, let me help you put this information out there. Like I mentioned, insurance. You can't monopolize insurance. This is what the NCAA is doing right now at these universities with these kids. If these kids that's trying to go to the NFL and NBA right now gets injured, that's not covered fully, they're responsible. If I'm a parent and I know my son is that talented, daughter's that talented, I'm not going to send you to a school where you're not going to cover their needs. We're going to start charting this stuff down. Which schools do not provide loss of value insurance? Which schools do not provide full care? Which schools that literally have a history of their players getting injured, having short-lived NFL careers, players that literally can't help find themselves getting arrested, shooting themselves, ends up in bars at less than 21 years old. But again, recruiting. How did you get recruited? How did they recruit your son if he wasn't there? Did you ask him? I mean, everybody jump up and down about Larry Nassar at Michigan State. It ain't just Larry Nassar that's responsible for all of that. Some of those same people that are responsible are still sitting there every day. And there's other daughters that are around there too, and other young men as well. But people are quick to vilify the athlete, the football player. I get it. That's why we're here. So the transition about college to the pro. So one thing I want to tell parents about recruiting in high school and going to college versus the NFL, which is different. In college, they want you. They try to recruit you to make you feel good about yourself. They want you to be happy. They want to make everything seem like it is a fairy tale birthday party, Chuck E. Cheese event. When these players now transition from college to the pros, the NFL is looking to find a way to find a chink in your armor and a reason not to give you the money that your talent warrants. So once I said at the beginning earlier, when you ask a player, if he's gay, which is, again, that's U.S. law. You can't ask a player that in any workplace environment in this country. So the NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB bylaws, NCAA bylaws, policies, traditions, none of that matters. But the unfortunate part, most of these players don't even know what their rights are in the first place. They never been told, going way back to high school and earlier. Putting kids in an uncomfortable and an unrespectful position is the norm, or has been. The same way now, when they trying to find out all the things that goes wrong, that you know, end of the day, this kid is hangs out with the wrong group of people. So, okay, even though he never got in trouble, that's a red flag. So let's draft him a couple rounds lower, or a couple picks lower. That's what the interview process is about, going in from college to the National Football League or NBA. Transition succession planning. Who am I when I'm not playing the sport? If you start focusing on that from day one, it won't be so difficult when you go from one point to the next. But once again, we know what the industry wants. We want to control your thought process. If you can't count, you can't read, you can't add, you can't understand context, then what are you going to do? Oh, I'm a fan of J.J. Watt, so I'll play defensive end. So whatever J.J. Watt do, I'm going to do too. I'm going to remind you guys, 80% go broke. Not just broke. They have mental and psychological issues when they transition after the fact. They can't believe what happened to them and how fast it happened. Then everybody else in the industry still doing their business, doing their dirt the same way. Not to mention, they still using your name to provide value to get more talent and more clients off of your name, even though you went broke and now out the league. A lot of people don't like how LeVar Ball conducts himself with his athletes and his sons. And again, at the end of the day, he's a father. And I mention that because many of you guys don't know, if you ever watch the NFL draft and you watch the red carpet, you don't see any fathers go down the red carpet. You don't believe me? Just look at it yourself. It's a fact. A lot of kids do not have any. A lot of African American kids don't have male figures in their life as fathers is concerned. Part of the process of recruiting in some of these schools and some of these people you see that's coming to your house and knocking on your door and calling you are there just to get you comfortable, to give your kid to them. Again, if it's about education, there's a lot of kids in urban areas that can't shoot a jump shot, can't throw a ball, can't run. A lot of kids in rural areas that can't farm, can't hunt, can't shoot, that would love your free education. But are you going to go to their house and then give them a scholarship, NCAA? Says anybody can, just as people say, anybody would love to get that scholarship. This is business. It's a product. And what these kids put into it and what their families put into it, all the money these parents spend all over the country going to the Rivals and Nike and Elite and Under Armour and Army, Navy and everything else under the sun, those parents are paying for that. Then you have the nerve and the audacity to have a kid who's the best player in your team at Michigan State, Miles Bridges, have to pay back $40 when your coach makes $4 million? You're going to disgrace that kid for $40, and then you wonder why LeVar Ball took his kid out of UCLA when you took him to China, and then you want him to apologize? Kids make mistakes, yes, but who set him up to make that mistake? I'll wait. I wouldn't want my kid going to UCLA if you're going to send him to China and then try to put him there and make him look like a criminal. Have them all over social media, people calling them names and threatening them about this and this and that. Wouldn't set my kid up for failure like that. But you guys can do it every day of the week. And they're supposed to be happy with it. With that free education. LeVar Ball kids want to play basketball. So let them play basketball. You have not proven the NCAA as a former student athlete that you provide the education that you tell the world that you give it. My company, myself, this podcast right here has given more information to more kids and families than you ever given me in my entire college career. it comes a point, like anything else in life, when you recognize something is wrong, you can address it, you can talk about it all day, but it's about solutions. We have the solutions. But nobody wants to hear right now because, again, at the end of the day, until the parents and the athletes recognize their power and who they are in this sports business, people will continue to smile in your face and stab you in the back because they get paid to do so. Again, any coach, any school, NCAA, I'm here. I'm the player's rep. I can professionally articulate on their behalf. And just so you know, they let us know what's going on. So you be mindful of that. Got an attorney over there, attorney over there. Just waiting. Background is working with at-risk youth, people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And one of the reasons why I'm no longer in that field, because I watched how the service that I provided for those kids and those people, that no matter how hard I worked to try to help them, once you got to a certain point, threshold, it all came back to money. I was a boss. I was like second underneath the big boss. Because you got to fire somebody for doing wrong by them, whether they didn't give them their medications, they wasn't giving them proper cleaning, their apartments are filthy. So to rehire and train someone is $3,000. After a while, they didn't want to retrain anybody. They wanted to look the other way. I could never do that. I never will. College is a business entity. Coaching profession is a business entity. NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA is a business entity. What do they all have in common? The player and the parents. Talk about in business, a flow chart, top to bottom. Who's coaching somebody if it's not a player? If it wasn't for the player, there'd be no coach. If it wasn't for the coach, there'd be no team. If there would be no team, there'd be no league. No league would be no ESPN, no NBA TV, no NFL Network, no ESPN, no Stephen A. Smith, NFL Network, no sports bars, nobody construction building arenas and stadiums, no professional owners. These guys aren't a commodity. They aren't a dime a dozen. You can't just go pick them off trees and put them out there and expect success. They earn everything that they work for, everything. And that's why people want to complain and talk about it, because usually when it comes to sports, people like to watch things that they can't do. If you know anybody that's, again, an athlete, student athlete, parent, got kids, need to understand things about the sports business, need some type of advisement, business management services at every level, you can find us at prepostgame.com. That's PRE-POSTGAME. You can follow me and find me here at The Players Rep, The Players Rep 1 on Instagram, The Players Rep 1 on Twitter. If you guys enjoyed what I had to say, again, please like and share. Send me your comments. I'll try to get to it next time in one of the other shows, African American Athlete or the Ball Hawk Show. I'm Robert T. Green signing off. And to educate and empower, protect the athletes and the family's best interests alone. God bless you.